Hi, I'm Tom Morgan, Microsoft MVP and Community Reporter for Microsoft Ignite 2019. I'm joined today by James Stark. Jamie Stark. Wow.
So yeah, my badge was printed with James. I don't know why, but yes, I'm Jamie. Hi.
Yeah, it's Jamie Stark. And Jamie, you're in charge of the TAC, the Teams Admin Center.
TAC that's a new acronym. We actually haven't officially coined TAC as an acronym. I use it internally, but yeah, Teams Admin Center. So I look after the website that IT pros use to manage, configure, operate the Teams service in Office 365.
Okay, fantastic. And we've seen a bunch of new announcements in Teams today.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There's so much good stuff.
Yeah, so how does that work with the TAC? Do you have new announcements today as well?
Yeah, a lot of times our work is in support of features that are coming out. So we have support for private channels, for example, that was recently announced. I think that officially goes general availability on Wednesday, so it's super exciting. Obviously, we've been working on it in TAP for a long time and in some of our early early adopter programs. But as the feature is built out, there's, of course, APIs that are used for the client and for the service to be able to actually create the feature. And a lot of those APIs are also for us to be able to administer the feature and to be able to put services in place in PowerShell or in Teams Admin Center for IT pros to be able to manage the thing. Mm-hmm. And so we, for example, with private channels, now you can create private channels within Teams Admin Center. You can choose who's an owner of the private channel. The owner has to be a member of the team, stuff like that. And there's a lot. There's a lot that has come out in Teams Admin Center across voice and across meetings and across reporting. And so we have a lot to talk about here.
So the Teams Admin Center is up to date with all the kind of new announcements. Is that?
I don't know about all. That would require me to have the blog in front of me.
I don't want to hold you to it. Yeah.
Most, a few, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
all right. How do you on that? How is that? How do you deal with that pace of change? Right, because Teams is different in terms of its pace of change.
Teams is crazy. Yeah. No. So back in the Lync and Skype days, we were having to engineer kind of across client and service and all these, almost in kind of a monolithic way. Teams doesn't engineer like that at all. The pace of change is incredibly rapid. So there's a lot to keep up on. We have to prioritize very, very stringently, and that's one of the reasons why it's fun to come out to Ignite. As you were waiting for me in order to do this little interview, I had conversations with 3 customers just walking through the booth, and they're like, oh, hey, boy, it'd be really cool if we could do blah in Teams Admin Center. I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. We totally need to do that. And that's hearing that kind of feedback and being able to integrate that into our product plans is one of the key things that's super exciting about being out here at Ignite.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. And so you're in service to the IT pro, the IT admin, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So how do you... So sweet.
No, that's the thing. Your job's hard enough as it is, right? So our goal with Teams Admin Center is to be able to make it as easy as possible for people to be able to do their administration work and their management work. And if they find that our tool is great to use, awesome. If they instead want to use Graph or instead they want to use PowerShell, that's all good too. But you should have a kind of equivalent capability to be able to manage this stuff across all those different surface areas, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And for those IT admins, as they're moving over from, say, Skype for Business to Teams, which, organization change and adoption and moving to Teams, how do you think things should change for them? Should they think differently? Should they do things differently? Or is it the same but different just because it's Skype to Teams? I know there's a lot in that.
That's a great question. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is, technically, there's a lot of the core infrastructure and a lot of the core facilities that ran Skype for Business are also now plumbed into Teams. And so the way that audio conferencing works and the way that calling works and phone system and calling plans and all those different pieces, they're functionally very similar between Skype for Business and Teams. So if you are writing dial plans in Skype for Business, we also have dial plans in Teams, and they're going to work the same way because the infrastructure is the same. That being said, Teams touches so much more, right? Teams touches areas of Office with groups. Teams touches so many areas of the service and the subscription, right? And that's one of the things that's so cool about Teams is that it brings all these pieces of Office 365 right in front of your users. But Yeah, like, so there's a lot more to learn, and there's a lot more to understand about the way that Teams expresses those different pieces of Office 365. But I think fundamentally, one of the key things that we've always talked about in the Lync and Skype days was around understanding user adoption and planning user adoption, and having a really thoughtful process around helping people consume the software and get utility out of it. That certainly hasn't changed, and that would be the kind of number one thing that I would recommend to everybody is if you're just starting off on the Teams journey, definitely start looking at the different adoption resources that we have, both online, and now we're actually getting them into the product too.
Ooh.
With Advisor for Teams. So this is a new feature within Teams Admin Center. It's going into preview soon, and what it's going to allow you to do is actually use Teams to deploy teams. So if you're in IT and you've got a project group that is going to start deploying, meetings, for example, within Teams, then what this feature will do is actually build out a team with all of the project plans and all the information that you need to be able to operate as IT to be able to have a successful deployment.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's super cool, right? Yeah, no, use the product to deploy the product. Like, it's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Jamie, thanks so much.
Ah,
Loads of knowledge. Like, bam, 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 bam. It's really, really good.
So yeah, there's 3 sessions that I've got at Ignite, and there's a ton to share. So
Cool.
really excited to be here.
People find you on the session builder as James, I guess.
I don't know, like Stark. I mean,
Stark,
yeah,
look for
Stark,
Stark.
yeah, something. Yeah.
Go find Jamie's session.
Or at the booth. I'll be here.
Go find him at the booth. Jamie, thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.